Hey everybody, welcome back to Dirt Grease Outdoor Peace. Got a few small projects I need to take care of, and the first one is cleaning up the old smoke pole after hunting season. I got a doe with it back in December. One thing I learned a long time ago is that as soon as you shoot it, I always just automatically reload it because you never know what's going to happen. As soon as you shoot it, I take one of these clean patches, throw it in my mouth, and get it nice and saturated, and then I clean the barrel with that, run it in there up and down, take it out, flip it over, run it in there again, and then I take a dry patch after that, run it down. It cleans it up really well. So what I'll do is take the breech plug out, and I'll show you how clean it is after that. I took the breech plug out, and then I took the pellets and the bullet that I had in there. I pushed that out, but I haven't done anything else to the barrel. So on the Thompson Center, it's a break open, and the extractor right here, you just pull that back, and then that flips off to the side. And this is the original Encore muzzleloader, so you got to use this tool to get the breech plug out. This is before the speed breech, but you just put that on there. Of course I got it upside down, but that pulls out. And then I'm going to try to line this up. Hopefully you can see that. Pretty clean for a spitball. But one thing we've been doing on these for years is clean the barrel out and then put a seasoning patch down there. It's these Thompson Center seasoning patches, and they have like a preserving grease on them. These are my favorite ones because they smell like mint. And so that'll be the last step. But I have breech plug cleaner. The black powder, yeah, I don't know if you can see that right here. It's already got a little corrosion in the end. This is where you put your primer, and it fires down through the hole. And black powder is extremely corrosive. This one is well, they call it stainless, but it still rusts a little bit. But there is some metal in here. Like I've had this ejector, it does have a little rust on it right there. And then back inside here where the firing pin is, there's a spring, so I usually take that apart, clean it. So I'll put the breech plug in this cleaner. You put that in there, and then I just let that set while I'm cleaning everything else. I got some pre-saturated patches that are probably almost antiques now. One thing I can do with these, I think these leaked at one point. I got a little bore cleaner. I'll just really only need one, but that'll soak into those other ones. This is what they call a JAG, J-A-G, and it's for pushing the bullet and for cleaning with a patch. Put that on the JAG, and then it's gonna be hard to record this, but run that in there. If you go down too far, you get caught in the threads for the breech plug, so you got to kind of feel for it. Yeah, wants to get caught down there. Yeah, it's pretty clean. So that was pretty clean just from the little spitball wad that I had in there. Run this through there again. Oops. Now I'll push it down in to where the breech plug goes and clean that a little bit. Just push it out the back. At home I've got a brush that's a perfect size for the back here. I think I can do this. So what I'm going to do is just take the I'm going to take the fore end off of this, and then I can pop the pin out and separate that. This is a different color. Years ago I had a friend of mine do a Cerakote finish on it. He's got a his is the same thing, but it's got the new speed breech on it, and then he's got a camo stock on his. But we were sitting out there hunting, and he said, why are we out here hunting with shiny guns? You got this shiny stainless finish on there. And I said, well, that's just what holds up the best. So he had his done flat green, which was nice looking with his camo stock. So I had this gray finish done, and it's held up pretty good. Thompson Center makes a great gun. These pro hunters are well made, accurate. I've never had this one misfire. Knock on wood. It's got a great trigger. Easy to load. It's got the chamfer in the end of the barrel where you can just start the bullet by hand. Of course, we got good scopes. Never go around with good glass. We'll just pull that off. And so probably should. Tap that out. Now I can get in there and clean that a little better. Yeah, there's a little corrosion on there. Now I can get in there and clean all that out real well. Oil it up. That's the actual firing pin right there. Yeah, this is in good shape. Years ago, I forgot to clean it one year, and this got really rusty after I shot it. But I got little grease on the back here around that spring, so that did pretty well. I'll get that all cleaned up. I've got this Thompson Center Super Lube, and for just regular firearm maintenance, breech plugs, choke tubes, actions. So I think this is what I used on this firing pin block here. I'll just squeeze a little on that. Just smear a little on the face there, just to prevent it from corroding. And now I'll take a season patch, put it on the jag. Oops. Work that in there just like the cleaning patch, and that puts a nice little film of that seasoning on there and just keeps it from rusting. This has like a compression ring on it that you want to stay nice and loose. So, and you see how easy that cleaned up? What I learned over the years is to put a nice little coat of grease on this whole thing. Then those rings won't get all sodded up and or rusty. So I put a nice little film of grease on this whole thing, and a little bit in the end. Take that seasoning patch that's got grease on it and just wipe the grease in there real nice. Just leave a little clean film on there. Put some grease on that extractor. That has some bluing on it, but it's really not a very good rust protection for that black powder. This tells you up on it. This little lug goes to the left. Push that in. Tool on there. That's it. Flip that up. Make sure this is clean. Rub a little of that grease on there. Put a little on the pin. Like that. Oh, that's what that spring is for. Inside here, that round puck that I had out. That little spring on the back is what pull the trigger and the hammer comes forward. That spring pushes the hammer back off of the firing pin. But then when you let go of the trigger, it brings it back. But that's what that little spring is for. Oh, that looks good. There. With the longer screw. Yeah, there's a short screw and a long screw. The long screw goes in the back. Wipe down the outside. I'll put a cap on the end too, just to keep it clean. If you've seen any of the videos before on the 57 or the old Apache truck there, I got this used lift that I have in my garage, and it's one of the best tools that I have. But it was scaly and nasty on the bottom, and the paint was all flaking off of it. And on these arms too, it had real nasty, flaky paint on it. And every time I used it, you go to drag these arms out, and paint would peel off of it and lay on the floor. And it was just one of those things that was just getting on my nerves. It's a great piece of equipment. It's just needed a little TLC. So I blew off what I could, and then I scraped, and then I used a needle scaler and cleaned everything up. I took a die grinder and took off all the sharp corners on all this stuff. And then I had bought this primer, this yellow primer and paint for the brush hog that I bought. I never did it. But this was the first time that I used Seal. That's it right there. I bought a gallon. It was like, I don't know, it was like 45 bucks. At first I didn't buy it. I thought it was a little expensive, and then I thought, well, at least try it. It's just one of those things where you don't use it, or you've never used it and you don't know what to expect. Well, I put a little bit in the bottom of a quart paint container, and I did everything on this lift with it and still had some left over. I couldn't believe how far that stuff goes. Actually, this right here is treated rusty metal, and that's just the Seal that you're seeing on there, and nothing else. I didn't paint this side. I painted the bottom with flat black, and I painted these. But this is just what it looks like after you use Seal. It turns the rust from iron oxide to iron tannate. I think it changes the acid changes it over, and It'll hold up a little bit like that, but they tell you to put a paint on it to seal it, but I'm not going to paint these because it's just going to get tore up. But so I did all these arms. I had the outer pieces out. I took them right out, cleaned them, did these, and then did the bottoms here, and then did primer and paint, and it came out really nice. I went into John Deere to get parts for something, and I had just got that brush hog, and I was thinking about getting some paint for it. So just for the heck of it, I looked and I thought, there's no way this John Deere paint is going to be really expensive, and I couldn't believe that it was so reasonable. So I bought a quart of this buff primer sealer and a yellow construction paint, and then I think I bought a quart of gray, the medium gray paint. I think the primer was only like $14 or $15, and I think this was less than 20, and it seems to be really good paint. I think it's like an acrylic, it's an acrylic urethane. I think I looked up the SDS on it, and because it tells you what to use to reduce it. I used a enamel reducer, and but it seems like really good paint. I couldn't believe it. So that was another project I got done. I cleaned up all this stuff. I had way too much wood and stuff in here. I cleaned all that up, cleaned up the shelf, cleaned up my fabrication table over here, put another light up over the fabrication table. I got a light shining right on that. Put a couple 4-foot LED motion lights here by my toolbox area. Those are nice, because as soon as this was the other thing I did. I don't know if I showed this in another video, but I got another used lift. I kind of got it stuck over here on the side, and I wasn't sure about it at first. It's kind of a goofy position. I'm used to having it a little more open, but if I was gonna work on the lift before, the car was sitting back there, and if I had to get in here, I would have to put my car outside, or I'd be going back and forth with it. So now I've got my car up in the air, and I've got a car cover on it, and I got a tarp over top of that just to keep the dust from going through the car cover. And so it's up high and dry, covered up, and then I've got storage for all this all these parts for the 58 Apache. So it's kind of the posts are in the way a little bit, but to be able to get that thing up out of the way and not be bumping into it with these other projects or moving it around, it's just nice to have that thing put away. I've got a couple bikes that I got to work on. I'll be getting onto those pretty soon. I had a mess over here in the cave. I had stuff on the floor, so I got that all picked up. I had to put another outlet in here, hung up the backpack blower, and got things organized in here. Bunch of little projects knocked out. I've been enjoying myself over here after hunting season, recuperating a little bit, and trying to get these projects taken care of. I got a little welding I got to do on the welder cart, so I wanted to show you a few little things that I did, and I'm gonna do a video on when I get ready to do that drill press. I got one other project. I've got one other project. So this is one of the things that I inherited with this garage. It's got gear oil in it. It's just a hand pump, and it leaks out of here. I can't get this nut. I was going to try to take this nut off and clean this shaft up and put an O-ring in there. I can't get this thing off because it's riveted, so drill this off. Clean that up a bit. Yeah, it does have a seal in there. Got like a sleeve. I don't know if that's supposed to be an O-ring in there, but I'll mess around with that. See if that wants to come out of there. If not, I might just try to add a thin O-ring. That might be a cheap fix and save me from buying some other $20-some piece of junk Chinese pump. So see if we can figure something out. So what I found out was this has got like a packing material in here. It's got this piece with a smooth wall on it. It's like a fiber material. So I found a O-ring that fits on here pretty good. Oh, I did clean this. I cleaned this up a little bit. So I found an O-ring that fits on there pretty good. So just gonna put this nut on there and snug that up, and just give it a try. If it can last long enough to pump out what's left in this. This has just got gear oil in there. Obviously this thing's been sitting around for a long time, but the gear oil is probably not terrible for, you know, I could use it in the brush hog, or you know, some stuff that doesn't go on the highway. And there, it got pretty tight. So we'll hook up this so that rivet that I drilled out, I found a 1224, fits in there pretty good. So I got the hose. The hose is going back down inside because it pumps. It has no problem pumping oil, that's for sure. I've already pumped it all over the floor a couple times. Let's see if I can snug that up just a little bit. So far so good. It was puking oil pretty good out the top here before. pumping oil good. Yeah, so far so good. I don't want to tighten it up too much. But yeah, needs to be working. It's nice to fix something like that up once in a while. Just a little bit of time and a little material. Oh, it's leaking out of here. Yeah, that's probably all the time that thing is worth, because it's looks like it's leaking out of here now. So yeah, at least I can use it to pump out what's left in there, and after that I can get a different one. Thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate you clicking on the video. If you wouldn't mind, take a second, go down there, hit that like button for me. Click subscribe to see more content when it comes out, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you very much.